December 4th, 2023 to order, and if you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sandy, could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Shippers.
Here.
Allenboss.
Present.
Ingalls.
Here.
King. Mayor Folkins.
Here. And at this time, if someone would like to make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented. Support.
Councilmember Allenboss.
Yes.
Ingalls.
Yes.
King. Shippers.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. We'll go ahead and open the floor for our first public comment. We do ask if you come forward, if you please state your name and then write your name and address for the clerk. Be greatly appreciated. And if you could limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. Okay, seeing no one, we'll close public comment and move to the approval of the consent agenda. And this evening, we do have the minutes from the regular meeting that was held on November 20th.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
Councilmember Ingalls.
Yes.
King. Shippers.
Yes.
Allenboss.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. We have a couple of reappointments this evening, Sandy.
Yes, it's being recommended to approve the reappointment of Joseph Bauman to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term to expire on December 4th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of Joseph Bauman to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term to expire on December 4th, 2026.
I'll second it.
Councilmember King. Shippers.
Yes.
Allenboss.
Yes.
Ingalls.
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
It's being recommended to approve the reappointment of Emily Kearney to the Local Development Finance Authority for a 4-year term to expire on December 16th, 2027.
I'd make a motion to approve the reappointment of Emily Kearney to the Local Development Finance Authority for a 4-year term to expire on December 16th, 2027. Support.
Councilmember Shippers.
Yes.
Allenboss.
Yes.
Ingalls.
Yes.
King. Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, that takes us to the adoption of ordinances and resolutions. Marcus?
Thank you, Mayor and members of the City Council. Under this section of our agenda, there's a couple of items. The first item actually has 3 pieces to it. I'm going to do my very best to try and summarize. The first item is regarding the adoption of 3 resolutions for the setting up of a public sidewalk special assessment for the purposes of getting a public hearing on the books for December 18th, 2023. As you'll see in your packet, there is a council communication that does, I think, a pretty good job in summarizing the item. I'll do it in short. Essentially, the DDA and the Business Improvement District Board, BID for short, late this past October, voted to recommend this special assessment request to City Council. It's under City Council's authority that special assessments get put in place. The DDA slash BID did not come to this decision-making very quickly. In fact, as you'll see in the communication, frankly dating all the way back to November of 2022, during an assessment forum on the parking lot issue, the sidewalks came up as something that those business owners, while they were saying we don't want an assessment in place for parking, would be willing to consider one in terms of the sidewalks. We have for years, just as an aside, one of the biggest complaints that we get from folks visiting our downtown area, especially within sort of our core downtown area, are regarding the condition of the sidewalks and of the brick pavers. And so this has been an issue that we've been trying to tackle for many years coming. Ultimately, we had, since that November 10th of 2022 assessment forum, several additional forums meeting with those key stakeholders. In fact, I'll just read into the record here. There was one in the fall of 2022, one in June of 2023, one in August of 2023, another one in October of 2023, and then the DDA had a subcommittee meeting about it also in October of this year, and then they finally had a regular meeting of their board where they came to the recommendation to move it forward. Like most everything, not everybody is happy with it. In short, this will essentially future-proof the city in terms of putting a product down, that being just a regular plain sidewalk, that regardless of what may eventually happen years down the road in terms of what could be a whole new streetscape, whether we're talking about changes to the road or even to things on the sidewalk itself, this is not going to be something where we're putting down something decorative only to then have to rip it up because it's not going to fit or it's not going to look right. Excuse me. This will get rid of all of the broken bricks and the brick inlay, and will frankly put down sidewalk that'll look to the best extent that we can. It'll be colored, not tinted like what you see down in the plaza, but colored to just try to match pre-existing sidewalk that's already there, and will create a flat surface, for many years to come. Part of the feedback that we had gotten from those business owners and the DDA is that they'd rather, instead of having money spent on seeing additional types of stamped treatments and other things into the concrete itself, it would be great if we could see new benches. It would be great if we could see new elements, happening to beautify the area, or for businesses to beautify the area in front of their storefronts. And so, again, what we're here to do this evening is to set up the public hearing that would actually establish the role. Once that's set up and we know that the project's moving forward, engineering will be working on the official bid packet. It's something that they would like to get out the door either late this winter or early spring, and we'll be hopefully building early spring or early summer to have it done and in place, so that it does not become a lingering issue through essentially the next outdoor sort of season. Not that people can't shop in the winter. Please shop in the winter, but I think council understands what I'm getting at in terms of seasonality of people enjoying the outdoors and the sidewalks and whatnot. So we'll have engineering at the hearing, I believe, on the 18th, and certainly John, who's our DDA director, is here as well this evening if there's any questions that you guys might have. You will see, again, the packet includes a tremendous amount of information and data. It's all there. So
we're just not passing anything, we're just moving it along.
Yes.
correct, moving it along. One thing that Councilmember Ellenboss, I should absolutely mention for the record, which I forgot to, is that as a part of all of this, we are looking at doing some cost sharing in the project and defraying $100,000 of that projected cost by identifying funds through the city's ARPA bank to contribute towards the project, so that it'll lower the assessments accordingly for everybody.
I do have one question.
Yep.
I was asked by one of the store owners while doing business in there if it would be possible for them on their own to replace their sidewalk instead of going in with the group that we're going to hire. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
But
I don't even know if we're hiring
Yeah,
it.
but they were asking if they could hire their own people to do the work or do it themselves even. And I was told that was okay. Was that correct?
So the question sounds very familiar. We had a question that came to us about whether or not if somebody said if they can do more work than what the scope of the project was going to do, if that would be okay. As a for instance, if they wanted to replace the sidewalk right adjacent to the building or other parts of the sidewalk that's not being touched, because the scope of the project doesn't completely cover everything. We had said, we being engineering, had said that yes, you could use, your own contractor, or you could, use the contractor that's going to eventually be whoever the contractor is, to replace whatever those other areas are. But in terms of how the assessment role works, it's, you don't have a choice. If your business is there and is a part of the assessment area, then it's not like you can opt out. If there are areas that aren't part of the assessment area, again, it would be the same answer. If they wanted to use the same contractor or a different contractor, we would certainly work with them on that.
So then the answer is no. I think from what you just said.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes or no, make it easy.
Yeah.
I'm trying. I'm just trying to be. I'm just trying.
You explained it well, but,
You
Okay.
can do more, just you can't opt out.
Yeah.
okay. All right, you answered my question.
Okay. Good.
Appropriately, too.
Thanks, Frank.
Now, I was
You're
trying.
welcome.
I was trying to find it in here, but did I read? Is it Peterson's that's being excluded?
Perhaps.
Is
Is
it
it-
a gas station?
Just one proportion doesn't have bricks in
Is
front
that
of it.
because
The
of the
main
way-
part of the gas
There's no
station
bricks there.
does not have bricks in it.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was because the way it was laid out, because it was new, or
No
with the,
bricks.
okay.
Yeah,
bricks,
the way it's laid out.
Well, I will make a motion. Let's see. Where are we?
Hey,
Yes, I will make a motion to adopt resolutions 1, 2, and 3 regarding public sidewalk special assessment and to set a public hearing for December 18th, 2023.
Support.
Councilmember Allenboss,
No.
Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
yes, motion carries.
Okay. The next item, and give me a minute, I just need to scroll over my computer here. Okay, thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. The next item is with regard to the former Western Concrete property and our plan to submit for a blight elimination program grant application, similar to other grant applications that from time to time require legislative body support, which you guys are the legislative body. This one does as well. We are applying for a state land bank grant, and this purpose of this grant would be to help the city not only acquire the Western Concrete property, but also basically clear it up. If you look at the two-page summary, the bottom of page 2 lists the half a dozen or so items that the grant would help provide. And so this is, all a part of the attempt of trying to create a site that would be suitable for industrial redevelopment purposes. And as we've talked about before, we're still in the midst of looking at an Italian-based rubber company, Old Roddy, coming to the community. And so request this evening is for your support on the grant application.
Well, if you get that Italian rubber factory, I might have to vote to give you a raise. So work hard at that, my friend.
We're trying.
And I thank you. The people of Cadillac appreciate it.
You want to make the motion?
Sure. I make a motion to adopt the resolution to approve the submittal of a blight elimination program grant to the State Land Bank Authority for the former Western Concrete property at 509 5th Street and organize the city manager to execute all grant documents as necessary.
Support.
Councilmember Ingalls,
Yes.
King, Shippers,
Yes.
Allenboss,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries.
Okay. thank you again, Mayor and members of the City Council. Appreciate it. If it's okay, moving on to the next.
Yes, please.
Next session. So the next section of the agenda is introduction of ordinances. And this evening, before you is the request to adopt a resolution that would introduce an ordinance to amend the city's zoning ordinance for the purposes of codifying our interpretation of short-term rental locations and the setting of a public hearing for December 18th, 2023. And for some additional context, if members of council may or may not recall, council had requested staff to go to the Planning Commission and have them consider the codification of the memorandum that our Community Development Director had put in place a few years ago, interpreting the zoning code in regard to locations around the city in which the use of short-term rentals would be appropriate. That's what this does. The Planning Commission hosted a public hearing at their last meeting at the very end of November, and their unanimous recommendation back to City Council was to codify as it was presented to them. And so therefore, as the process goes, we are now asking City Council to set a public hearing accordingly to then hear that presentation and then consider the codification of the ordinance, or of the memo that would turn it into an ordinance. So,
Okay, I will make a motion, I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution to introduce an ordinance to amend city zoning ordinance to codify interpretation of short-term rental locations and to set a public hearing for December 18th, 2023.
I'll second it.
Councilmember King, Shippers,
Yes.
Allenboss,
Yes.
Ingalls,
Yes.
Mayor Folkins.
Yes, motion carries. This evening, we do have in our packets the minutes and reports of the elected officials compensation commission draft, the historic district commission, and the last planning commission meeting. So that takes us to the second public comment for this evening, if anyone has anything.
Where is this information regarding the codification?
If you could come up.
Okay. Where is this information
Could
regarding?
you please state your name?
I'm
please?
Tanya Robertson.
Okay. And we'll address that during the good of the order.
Okay.
Is that your question?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was just wondering
All
what
right.
it was and where are details.
Sure. We'll
Okay.
address that during good of the order.
Okay.
Seeing no one else, we'll go ahead and close public comment and move to the good of the order, if anyone has anything this evening.
if I may just jump in,
Yes,
please. Thank you, Mayor, members of the City Council. Question was raised at public comment regarding where someone might find information on short-term rental codification. And that is all available in our public meeting packets that are available at the front counter if you were to ask during office hours. But they're also posted online. www.cadillac-mi.net is our website. Bottom left, it'll say, and I'll just verify it's bottom left. I think it's bottom left. Public agendas. And give me a minute. Yes, bottom left, city council agendas. And just click the link, click the date, and all that information will be there. There's also right in the middle of the page under a section, I want to say it's called, and help me out here, new happenings or news and announcements.
It's right at the top.
Yeah, right at the top, under news and announcements, it's almost like a rotation, and there's several sort of hot topics, that being one of them. If you click on it, you'll have hyperlinks to all the different areas.
That sounds extremely helpful. And you said additionally there could be a packet available if I were to stop by.
Yes,
and Request.
yes,
Perfect. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, sorry, just really quick. I watched the Planning Commission hearing, and thank you to the chair, John, the mayor. When the Planning Commission, handles an issue like that, it makes our job a lot easier. I thought they did a really good job. So, thank
Okay,
you guys.
great, thanks.
I'd just like to comment about the tree lighting and the wonderful turnout of the community there, and just how delightful it was. It felt like I was in the Hallmark movie. And my grandkids were up from Nashville, and they loved it, even though it was freezing cold. Everybody just had a wonderful time. And I would really like to thank Ken Payne and his whole crew for getting all that together. And who'd have thought that squirrels could
Yeah.
create such havoc? But that was part of the delight of it all. You know, and if everything is perfect, it's different than if there's something and everybody's like, whoa, oh, that's great, you know. We just loved it. I just love this town and all those that went into that, and the laser or the drone light show was astounding. It was lovely, and I've heard from several people who have said maybe we should go from fireworks to that sort of thing, and save the dogs and the veterans from the stress of big, huge fireworks show and the environment. So anyway, I just love to thank you to everybody that worked so hard on that. And the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a thank you to the street department crew that worked in the rain, putting on the lights. Thank you, men. Did a good job.
Yes. Okay, anything else? Then we'll go ahead and adjourn.